Hello ladies and gentlemen, Gabesty here. This is the Heroic Healer Guide for Spoils of Pandaria, and this video should assist healer players with all the basics that they need to know to get through this encounter on Heroic difficulty. Now to begin, there's one new mechanic on Heroic, which is Unstable Sparks. And mechanically these are pretty simple. When any particular group kills the sets of mobs from a crate on their side of the room, it will cause a single unstable spark to spawn on the other side of the room for the opposite group. So essentially each time your group deals with a crate, a set of mobs from a crate, an unstable spark spawns for the other group. Overall, the number of sparks for each group throughout the encounter will be equal, assuming you do the same number of crates, but dealing with the sparks is important. Each spark spawns kind of in the center of the room and has about 1,000,000 health. If it does not die within 10 seconds, it will cast Supernova that won't necessarily wipe your group, but anyone that's not full health will probably die from the explosion. So it's important that your DPS, particularly your ranged and healer DPS, deal with the sparks quickly as they appear. And as long as you kill them within 10 seconds, every time they appear, then you're fine. Now, as a healer, there are a few things you can do to assist the sparks. The biggest thing is, especially if you get the Mistweaver Pandaren buff, to make sure you're always facing the group of mobs that your raid is dealing with, particularly the sparks. When the healer Mistweaver wave goes off, it will almost always deal full damage, or nearly 1,000,000 damage to the sparks. It's around 750, 800,000 damage. So that's a significant chunk of DPS. Other than that, even if you don't have the healer Pandaren buff, as a healer, you should assist with sparks whenever possible, because it's much more difficult for your tank and melee DPS to help with them. So it'll be mostly up to you as a healer and your ranged to deal with those. The second big consideration is the order that you open crates. And this is especially important as a healer, because usually you will be the best player to open the crates for your group. The reason for this is pretty simple. Everyone else will be actively DPSing more than a healer is capable of doing, even with the Mistweaver buff. And therefore, a healer who's not really actively in need of healing should be opening the crates for your group, so you can constantly DPS. So the best thing to do as a healer is to know the basic order that you're going to open crates and the positions of those crates, so that you can position yourself before the previous wave of enemies dies. So here you can see the large mob is just about to die, and I rush over and open the next set, which is 2 mediums for us. Now, I won't go into detail of the actual order of crates that we use here, but if you click on the full raid guide in the bottom left there, you can check out the section that talks about that and goes into detail of the crate order that we do for the north half of the room. And you can adopt that if you need to for your own group, and then kind of know, when you should open the next set of crates and where they're going to be sitting and all that good stuff. So finally, some general tips for healing this encounter. The first big thing is to have a plan for each room, as mentioned before. So this will just assist your entire group, but you especially, if you're opening crates, in knowing what you're going to do at any given time. So before you begin the encounter, you can just look over the edge, down into the room, and see where the crates are positioned, and kind of plan out with raid markers if needed which sets of crates are going to open at what time, and sort of chunk them off into waves that will make it easier for you to handle. The second thing is, in the Mogu room, keep the group topped off, in particular when the large spawn is active and it's about to do its sort of AE slam or blast effect. The name of these are different depending on the mob you get, but they're all basically the same thing. They do pretty massive damage to the group, and this damage is increased based on the number of stone statues that are active. So as long as you're ranged, in particular, your DPS keep the stone statues at low numbers, this will not kill anyone that's full health, but as a healer it's important that everyone is topped off before this explosion occurs in the Mogu room. The second thing is also in the Mogu room to dispel Torment regularly. And Torment occurs from the medium spawns. The Shadow Ritualists will stack this dot on a random player, and once the stacks reach a certain level, it becomes pretty significant damage and you need to dispel it quickly. But if you dispel pretty much on cooldown, it's never going to be an issue. And then finally, as a healer, you should open crates preemptively whenever possible. So, as I talked about before, you're the best, usually as a healer, best player to be in charge of opening the crates for your group, because you're not doing too much otherwise. And you should know when the previous set of mobs are about to die, and therefore you can open the next set. So here you can see the previous set is about to die, and I'm opening the next set, which is 2 smalls and a large right now. And this will just keep your DPS and your tank always doing stuff, always active, and that'll be important to meet the overall requirement. So that is about it. Overall, it's a pretty simple fight. The big issues as a healer to watch for are, again, the explosions from the Mogul room, the dispels, and then just the large spawns on the Manton side have a lot of constant ticking damage as well. So these are the times you'll want to use your heal cooldowns if necessary, but otherwise the healing requirement is pretty lax on this fight. That is the Heroic Healer Guide for Spoils of Pandaria. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.